Hello everyone and welcome back to Poetry Surprises and day 3 of the quarantine. I'd like to take you back in time before I read the poem I'm going to feature today, because in this very room about 50 years ago there was a general fug of fag smoke and a regular commentary on the horse racing. And my father would come back from the pub smelling of beer and immediately watch the next race on the television. And if his horse won, he would give me a couple of bob. If his horse won and it was a good price, he'd give me half a crown. And this was great. We never had the concept of pocket money. If the horse won, I got something, and if the horse lost, I got nothing. And more often than not, there wasn't a lot. Anyway, what did I do with this half crown or 2 bob? I went straight over the bell, which is in that direction. And there was the most important shop, probably in the whole of my life. It was the bookshop. And I used to go through the door and straight to the philosophy and poetry. Fortunately, because they both begin with P and it was alphabetically organised, they were really near to each other, so I didn't have to bother with all the rest of the stuff. I never liked novels and all that sort of thing. But philosophy and poetry was my thing. So I used to go in with my money and I'd look through. And I started off with the philosophy on the Greeks. So the first piece of philosophy I read in my teens was The Last Days of Socrates. And then I read the Symposium, and then I read the Republic. And eventually I'd read all the Greek philosophy that I got through Aristotle as well. And I had to find somebody else. And I thought all philosophy was Greek. So I looked above Plato and below Aristotle, and there was somebody beginning with D, another Greek philosopher named Descartes. Yes, well, you know, East End lad, wasn't that sort of aware of pronunciation of languages. Anyway, I bought it. I bought Philosophical Meditations, I think, and Discourse on Method. And I brought it back. And then I learned that he was French, which was fine. I still didn't know how to pronounce his name, but you know. But the reason I'm mentioning this is because it profoundly affects the interpretation of the poem I'm about to read to you, which I wrote last night in bed at 4 o'clock in the morning. Because Descartes, I got it right, didn't I? I got it right there. Rene Descartes went through this process of self-isolation. He stopped up his ears and he covered his eyes and he couldn't smell anything. He got the ambient temperature in the room to be body temperature. So he kind of cut himself off from the world, and there was an experiment. And the experiment was to find out what could he be sure about in this life? What could he absolutely not contest as being potentially an illusion? And of course he came up with his famous phrase, cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. Or it's even better in French, I think. Je pense, donc je suis. It's got that sort of certitude about it, yeah. Anyway, this process that he underwent suddenly sort of triggered last night ideas. You know, here I am cut off from the world. I'm not breathing any air outside this room. Everything is contained within this little world, and so you know I'm undergoing my own Cartesian experiment, if you like. But what I like is because there was another bit in that bookshop, wasn't there? I mentioned it was philosophy and poetry. Now poetry, that's all about imagination. So I actually like all the illusions that you get when you're cut off, when you start fantasizing about things that could possibly be happening. The illusions for the poet are actually quite interesting. They're fascinating. Whereas Descartes sort of, well, we're not having that. But I wanted to explore the world of the imagination. And that's the poem that came to me in the middle of the night last night. So I've been working on it, I've been fiddling around. Understand that, these are probably going to change massively over time. But I thought it was interesting to see, what's going on in this self-isolated world that I'm living in at the moment. So this poem, which I've got here, here it is, printed out on a piece of paper, is called Imagine. Imagine. I imagine starlight, for my skies a coat of clay. Feel the river running through my toes, knowing it's the tap that flows. Sniff sweet honey in the air, though no bees are ever here. Catch the skylark's dainty song, or donkey braying loud and long, even as I turn and call to the mirror in the hall. I taste the strawberry in the woods, rambling through my cupboard foods, and dream I lie beneath the sun, dozing with the light bulb on, or watch as silver raindrops streak down the window of my cheek, while boiling water for my tea, the kettle's raucous energy propels me through the galaxy. Well, I suppose you're going to start imagining things when you're on your own, with a degree of sensory deprivation. I really enjoyed writing that poem, and rhyming couplets and 4-beat lines with the odd insertion of an anapest here and there. It's great fun playing with these limitations that you apply to yourself in poetry as well as in daily life. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the stories around this. There's going to be another one soon. I'll probably wake up in the middle of the night again with another idea. I don't know. Who knows? It's great, isn't it? Anyway, I'll see you soon. Bye for now.